Hey everyone, it's Lisa Purdy and I'm here reading from Genesis in the Amplified Version of the Bible. I encourage you to read along or at least listen to the words of the Lord on chapter 32. Then Jacob went on his way and God's angels met him. When Jacob saw them and said, "This is God's army," so he named that place Mahalaim, two armies. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, "Say this to my lord Esau. Your servant Jacob says this: I have been living temporarily with Laban and stay there until now. And I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, men servants, women servants, and I have sent to tell my lord that I may find mercy and kindness in your sight." And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We came to your brother Esau, and now he is on the way to meet you, and 400 men are with him." Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people who were with him and the flocks and herds and camels into two groups, thinking if Esau comes to one group and smites it, then the other group which is left will escape. Jacob said, "O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, and Lord who has said to me, 'Return to your country and to your people, and I will do you good,' I am not worthy of the least of all the mercy and loving kindness and all the faithfulness which you have shown to your servant. For with only my staff I passed over this Jordan long ago, and now I have become two companies. Deliver me, I pray you, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and smite us all, the mothers with the children. And you said, I will surely do you good and make your descendants as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude." So he's reminding God what he promised him. And Jacob lodged there that night and took from what he had with him as a present for his brother Esau 200 she-goats, 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 milk camels with their colts, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 she-goats, and 10 donkey colts. And he put them in the charge of his servants, every drove by itself, and said to the servants, "Pass over before me, and put a space between drove and drove." And he commanded the first, "When Esau my brother meets you and asks to whom you belong, where you are going, and whose are the animals before you, then you shall say, 'They are your servant Jacob's. It is a present sent to my lord Esau, and moreover he is behind us.'" And so he commanded the second and third and all that followed the drove, saying, "This is what you are to say to Esau when you meet him. And say, moreover, your servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goes before me, and afterward I will see his face. Perhaps he will accept me." So the present went on before him, and he himself lodged that night in the camp. But he rose up the same night and took his 2 wives, his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford of the Jabbok. And he took them and sent them across the brook. Also he sent over all that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. And when the man saw that he had not prevailed against Jacob, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And Jacob's thigh was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. Then he said, "Let me go, for day is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you declare a blessing upon me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" And in shock of realization, whispering, he said, "Jacob, supplanter, schemer, trickster, swindler." And he said, "Your name shall be called no more Jacob, supplanter, but Israel, contender with God. For you have contended and have power with God and with the men, and have prevailed." Then Jacob asked him, "Tell me, I pray you, what is in contrast is your name?" But he said, "Why is it that you ask my name?" And the angel of God declared a blessing on Jacob there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, the face of God, saying, "For I have seen God face to face, and my life is spared and not snatched away." And as he passed Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and he was limping because of his thigh. That is why to this day the Israelites do not eat the sinew of the hip, which is on the hollow of the thigh, because the angel of the Lord touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh on the sinew of his hip. So here we see a name change again. Abraham had his name changed. And now Jacob is now Israel, which is a key thing. And you will see his descendants and what they become. So that's really cool. And he used wisdom by sending gifts ahead of time, which was customary. And he also hid those that were worth the most to him and sent them on their way a separate direction while he stayed back. So he would be the one that the focus of any harm would come to. And then he ends up wrestling at night with an angel of the Lord. And this is how it turns out. So it's very interesting. His life just totally changes. He goes from, running away from his home and getting the firstborn blessings, and then he gets to a new land and he finds his wife's and starts his whole family, gets his wealth over there. God blesses him. And now he's coming home and he's coming back to the people that were mad at him. And times have really changed. And now, reflecting of the change that has happened in him, God has now renamed him for who he is really to be. So very cool things. You just never know when your story is going to change for the best, and you can definitely see how God's honored and blessed him. So as we continue on, I'll see you next time.